Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kody Brown, star of Sister Wives, hasn't always been very vocal about his emotions. His life has had many highs and lows throughout the years, but his son Garrison died a year ago. For the franchise, it was among the most startling pieces of news. After being completely taken aback, the Brown family finally talked about the tragedy for the first time in a year. Following the death of his son Garrison, Kody acknowledged that he was experiencing heartbreaking grief. One of his sons shot himself at his home and killed himself. After discovering him dead in his house, his brother Gabriel told the other members of the family. Janelle, Garrison's mother, has been crying and sobbing over the tragedy, and now, for the first time, Kody started crying when he thought about Garrison. His unfiltered feelings were shown to the audience, and we all felt sorry for him in a way. Kody and Robin, Sister Wives, disrespected Garrison's funeral. The Brown family made the decision to travel to Cody, Wyoming, to lay Garrison's ashes in the most recent Sister Wives episode. A year had passed since his passing, and they believed the time had come. Kody and Robin boldly transformed the lengthy road trip into a family getaway. Kody had a happy time eating ice cream with his family, but he also shed crocodile tears. They also dared to explore the area, including riding aboard a stagecoach and seeing the Wild West show. Sister Wives, Kody sobs while discussing Garrison's death. Nobody ever finds death easy, particularly when it's a close one. Garrison, 25, committed suicide, causing a great grief for the Brown family. Even though the true cause of the tragedy is yet unknown, it is still incredibly tragic and heartbreaking. The Brown family had been silent about his passing for more than a year, but now they were prepared. Janelle has never held back while expressing her affection for her baby. She cried even during the episode when she thought of Garrison. Unexpectedly, Kody also started crying when he admitted that he finds it difficult to accept his son's death. Grief comes to him in waves, he added. He is unable to really recover from it once it strikes him. He went on to say that as he was negotiating the overpowering waves following the death of his kid, he had an anxiety attack. He spoke up and admitted that if he sobs or screams aloud about it, he can't end it. He was unable to stop the feelings from impacting him since they were so overwhelming. Kody went on to say that he wished to bring Garrison home and inter his ashes between those of his grandparents. He claimed that Garrison was his son, and it was clear that he cherished him. When he was born, it was he who cradled him in his arms. He used to grieve and make plans for how to bury his ashes as part of his grieving process, and Kody used to rock him to sleep. Before Garrison committed suicide, they had a dreadful relationship. Kody wishes that the outcome had been different. Kody Brown, star of Sister Wives, has been embroiled in controversy since the poignant season 19 episodes. Garrison's passing and funeral were discussed in the most recent episodes. The family was going through a terrible period. However, a number of reports have emerged asserting that Kody caused quite a stir at his son's funeral. There were also fresh rumors that TLC might have used Garrison's passing to pay for Kody's trip. See the startling conversation by continuing to read. Sister Wives. Kody Brown was supposedly reprimanded during the funeral. During Garrison's burial, a source just came forward with startling information regarding Kody and Robin. During the funeral service, Janelle's relatives allegedly reprimanded Kody. Additionally, they stated that they do not wish to capture the poignant moment on camera. Nevertheless, Kody and Robin brought a film team to the funeral. Kody and Robin showed up at the funeral looking quite proud of themselves, the insider stated. On a recent discussion thread, some Sister Wives fans also believe that TLC and Kody's funeral-related shenanigans are far worse than most people realize. Supporters believe that TLC used Garrison's passing to justify Kody's trip. On social media, a few Sister Wives fans talked about how TLC might have exploited Garrison Brown's passing to justify Kody's trip. The sign claims that only Robin's family was videotaped during the funeral, indicating that no one else in the family wanted to record the event. Additionally, the OP found it repulsive that Kody might have collaborated with TLC and exploited Garrison's death to take a brief trip back home. Others concurred, saying that as long as there was money involved, Cody would seize every chance he could. Let me clarify this. Selling signs that he did not create or design are among Cody's greatest professional highlights.
Whoa.
This entire portion seemed like an afterthought to me. Perhaps they needed something in Wyoming, so they filmed. The memorial ceremony was likely requested by the producers, but Garrison's family vehemently objected. As a result, Cody and the kidults wandered about Cody, Wyoming, attempting to make it pertinent to his life. It was so strange. Nor was it necessary to videotape it. This was the most inventive material the gory duo has created in years, despite the fact that it was completely inappropriate and felt forced and staged. Sister Wives. Cody Brown's desire to honor his deceased son is being criticized by fans. A video from the family's tearful reunion at Garrison's final resting place in Wyoming has also been made public by TLC. For the depressing event, Cody got back together with his ex-wives. Cody talked about how much he wants to commemorate his late kid in one of his interviews. But other Sister Wives followers criticized him for expressing his concern now that his son was dead. In addition, Garrison has voiced his disappointment at his father's neglect of him and his siblings, claiming that Robin can have him and that they don't require a father figure. Should have treated his mother with dignity and respect in order to honor his son while he was alive. Cody was unbearable tonight, and why is his son's picture in the garage, and why is he unable to bring it inside? Unfortunately, Cody failed to pay tribute to Garrison while he was still alive. Crying face. Garrison's picture in the garage is awful. To say it on TV is so embarrassing. It ought to be in the darn house. I felt ill after that. Cody Brown, star of Sister Wives, is experiencing heartbreaking sadness after his son, Garrison Brown, committed suicide. In the Sunday, May 11th episode of the TLC reality show, the 56-year-old patriarch disclosed that he had an anxiety attack while dealing with the overwhelming waves of grief. You experience grief in waves. As viewers saw the unfiltered anguish Cody has been dealing with since Garrison's suicide in March 2024 at the age of 25, he said, "When it hits me, I can't run from it. If I cry it out, or if I sob it out, I can cut it short, but when that wave comes, I cannot prevent it from affecting me." Cody, who shares Garrison with his ex-wife Janelle Brown, said in a vulnerable moment. Although Cody and Janelle, 56, had a military burial for their deceased son, Cody felt obliged to make a personal pilgrimage to Wyoming in order to bury Garrison with his family. "I wanted to take Garrison home and bury his ashes next to his grandma and his grandpa and, just kind of finish the circle," he stated. "The first person to hold him was me. My son is this. He was rocked to sleep by me. This is a component of my grieving process," he continued. Prior to the catastrophe, Cody and Garrison had a strained connection despite their love. He acknowledged having an anxiety attack when he thought about his kid. "Occasionally, it will overcome me without warning. It was almost like having an anxiety attack. I have a strong, overpowering sensation that I won't see him ever again," he remarked. "There's so much left undone, so much left unsaid." The conflict between father and son, which was sparked by Cody's stringent COVID-19 procedures and finally resulted in their fallout, is one that fans will never forget. "Garrison's poster will always be in my garage, and I always will see it and wonder what was missed in the future that would have been," Cody said. "And it's a game of consciousness to move with grief, to make your blood sweet instead of bitter from the pain." The May 4th episode of Sister Wives revealed the tragic circumstances behind Garrison's death, and Janelle turned to Instagram to express her feelings about their son's tale being featured on the program. "Accepting that we done everything we could in the end has taken some time." A moving black and white picture of herself and Garrison was included with her post. "Sometimes the mind convinces someone there's no hope even when all the evidence says otherwise," she wrote. "I'm so thankful for all of my children and especially for my grandbabies. They are truly life-giving," said Janelle, who is the mother of Garrison and 5 other children with Cody. "And I'm confident that I'll see Garrison again because of my faith. That assurance gives me great peace." The death of Garrison Brown is still deeply felt by the Sister Wives family. Janelle Brown is talking candidly about the TLC singer's decision to bury her kid in Wyoming as they attempt to adjust to life without one of their family members. It didn't take long for Janelle and Cody Brown to decide where to bury their cherished son in the most recent Sister Wives episode. The Browns have deep roots in Wyoming, the mother of 6 disclosed. My mother and Cody's father are buried there, and I would like to place Garrison by my mother. The Equality State holds a special place in the hearts of Janelle, Cody, and Garrison. He was greatly influenced by his experiences, Janelle continued. Working on the ranch there for the summer. To support her mother, Maddie Brown also made an appearance on the small screen. The place feels like home to them, especially after several transfers, according to Janelle's daughter. Wyoming is probably the closest place we have to roots, Maddie says to the audience. It's residence. It was as if you went to the ranch to learn how to work, and we used to go every summer. Selecting Garrison's final resting place was simple for Janelle and Cody. Furthermore, Cody would say, I just want to take him home. And I say, all right, I understand that. Cody was born and raised in Lavelle, Wyoming. In addition, he went to high school there and observed his parents' struggles with polygamy. A handful of the older children were born in Wyoming, where Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, and Christine Brown, his first 3 wives, eventually resided. But in the end, they relocated to Lehi, Utah. We don't know why they moved to Utah, but we do know that Cody enjoys making spontaneous moves across the nation. An estimated 38,000 fundamentalist Mormons are polygamous throughout the state of Utah. Cody and his wife were therefore only a handful of those members. The Browns' decision to go in the middle of the night was a third-degree felony in Utah, despite the fact that bigamy charges are rarely brought against polygamists. Fans were concerned that Cody was being investigated by the local police, as they found out. In Season 1, Cody also mentioned that cohabitation could result in his incarceration. They shared a single house with several rooms at the time. Cody believed that moving to Las Vegas was the safest course of action for his family, despite the fact that years later, the local authorities stated they never had an ongoing investigation. Despite being settled, Cody infuriated nearly everyone when he chose to transfer the whole family to Flagstaff, Arizona, a few years later. In March 2024, Garrison passed away. He was only 25. Fans of Sister Wives soon found out that the cat lover killed himself following a night of drinking and depression. The following morning, Gabriel Brown, Garrison's brother, located him. Garrison died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, according to the Coconino County Medical Examiner's post-mortem report. And it was determined that he committed suicide. Garrison also had ethanol intoxication or alcohol poisoning, according to the autopsy. The legal limit in Arizona is 0.08%, but the Sister Wives star's blood alcohol content was 0.307%. Anything beyond 0.4% is regarded as possibly lethal. At the time of his passing, Cody and Janelle issued a joint social media statement. It said, Cody and I regret to inform you of the passing of our lovely son, Robert Garrison Brown. For everyone who knew him, he was a source of joy. We shall be left speechless by the void our loss will create in our lives. We kindly ask that you respect our privacy and join us in paying tribute to him. Garrison and Cody's feud never ended, which only served to deepen the heartache. The patriarch is now attempting to make amends with himself in the current episode. Sister Wives. Cody Brown breaks down in tears while talking about Garrison's death. This is my son. A grieving father faces the pain he can no longer escape. In one of the most heart-wrenching and raw moments ever witnessed in the history of Sister Wives, Cody Brown finally opened up about the devastating death of his son, Robert Garrison Brown, and in doing so, shattered the public perception of his typically stoic, guarded persona. With tears streaming down his face and his voice cracking under the unbearable weight of grief, Cody's emotional collapse reminded viewers that beneath the fractured family dynamic, complicated beliefs, and ongoing controversies, he is still a father in pain. This is my son, he cried out in an emotional outburst that has since echoed through the hearts of every fan, critic, and estranged family member watching from a distance. The moment wasn't polished or edited to perfection. It was raw, vulnerable, and agonizing. It was the sound of a father grieving not just the loss of a child, but the crumbling of the life he once believed he had control over. For so long, Cody was seen as the orchestrator of the Brown family's chaos, the patriarch whose decisions divided his wives and alienated his children. But in that moment, just one man, broken by unimaginable loss, he was stripped of power, pride, and position. All that remained was pain, and the bitter truth that no amount of belief, leadership, or justification could ever bring his son back. Garrison's tragic passing earlier this year left the entire Sister Wives fandom reeling, but no one was prepared for the emotional implosion that would follow from Cody. For a man who had long been accused of showing favoritism, dismissiveness, and emotional detachment, particularly toward his older children, this moment of grief peeled back the final layer. As he sobbed into his hands and repeated, "This is my son," like a prayer, it became heartbreakingly clear that Cody wasn't just mourning Garrison's death. He was mourning the years of emotional distance, the lost opportunities for healing, and the countless moments he'd never get back. Fans who had criticized him relentlessly suddenly found themselves seeing a man consumed by guilt and regret. Not only did he lose a child, but he also lost the chance to make things right. The image of Cody weeping was not just tragic, it was haunting. It spoke volumes without explanation, reminding everyone watching that estrangement, when left unaddressed, can have permanent consequences. The Brown family had been on shaky ground for years, but the tension between Cody and his sons, particularly Garrison and Gabriel, had become a painful subplot during the pandemic. The fallout over COVID rules, Cody's increasingly isolated relationship with Robin, and his alleged favoritism created a chasm between him and his sons that was never repaired. Cody publicly clashed with Garrison, even suggesting at one point that he should move out unless he followed household rules. Garrison, fiercely independent and visibly frustrated by his father's behavior, chose distance. He served in the National Guard, bought his own home, and slowly carved out a life separate from the family drama. But while he smiled for photos and shared glimpses of happiness online, few knew the depth of his emotional battles. And now, after his untimely passing, the loss feels doubly tragic because so many things were left unsaid. Cody, in his emotional breakdown, seemed to carry not only the sorrow of loss but the crushing weight of unfinished reconciliation. It wasn't just a father losing a son. It was a father who now had to live with the fact that their last conversations may have been filled with anger instead of love. When Cody broke down on camera, or in front of those who recounted the moment, he wasn't speaking as the leader of a plural family or the central figure of a TLC juggernaut. He was a grieving dad begging the universe for one more chance. "This is my son," he repeated, as if saying it aloud would somehow undo the reality that he was now gone. The pain in his voice wasn't performative, it was primal. And for many fans, it was the first time they saw Cody not as a controversial reality TV figure, but as a man brought to his knees by something he couldn't control. No script, no sermon, no family counsel could prepare him for the brutal finality of death. And while Cody has often been accused of deflecting blame or rationalizing behavior, there was no deflection here. Just sorrow. Many fans were divided over how to respond. Some felt empathy. After all, no parent deserves to bury a child, no matter their past mistakes. Others couldn't help but feel that Cody's breakdown came too late, that he had so many chances to reconnect with Garrison, to show up, to apologize, and chose pride over peace. The emotion was real, but the damage had already been done. Still, viewers couldn't deny the power of the moment. Cody, long seen as emotionally distant or disconnected from his older children, was now shattered. And his breakdown raised difficult questions not just about parenting, but about the very structure and consequences of polygamy, favoritism, and fractured family systems. Could this tragedy have been prevented if Cody had fostered stronger connections with his kids? If he had shown more emotional intelligence during the pandemic? If he had listened rather than demanded obedience? Garrison's death didn't just fracture the Brown family further, it exposed the emotional fault lines that had been hiding in plain sight for years. In some ways, Cody's breakdown was less about Garrison alone and more about the reckoning of a life lived under the illusion of control. He had lost 3 wives. He had lost the respect of many of his children. He had become estranged from sons who once looked up to him. And now, with Garrison gone forever, the finality of that estrangement had become too real.